violence, hate, recruitments. Over the years, the presence of these social ills continues to disrupt the life and the future of the Philippines' second largest island, Mindanao, home to priceless cultural heritage, 18 diverse ethnic tribes, and more than 1,000 breathtaking wonders. Mindanao is dubbed as a land of promise. It is a melting pot of culture and religion, home to 25 million Mindanaoans. Despite this, Mindanao is never exempted from conflicts. In fact, we have it worse perennially. We have long been strained with an early negative narrative, a hotspot of insurgency in the Philippines and in Southeast Asia. The COVID-19 pandemic has made it worse. Our youth has become easier targets for recruitments because of the stronger presence of violent extremists online. They view the pandemic, a time of isolation, stress, and confusions, as a perfect opportunity for expansion. And this is where I Am Mindanao comes in.
Hello there, I am Joshua.
I am Nathalie.
I am Stu.
I am Zeline.
I am Marigan.
I am Mindanao.
I Am Mindanao is a social media campaign that seeks to counter violent extremism and hate speech in Mindanao through providing safe spaces for positive messaging. For the last 5 years, we have multi-strategically educated and capacitated the youth in various sectors, those in universities, in high schools, and even with those closest to our hearts, our mothers, an effort to veer them away from the threats of violent extremism and hate speech. I Am Mindanao serves as a protector of our community's dream by helping them find their sense of purpose and honing their potentials to utilize as a second barrier against the threats of violent extremism and hate speech.
The COVID-19 pandemic inevitably caused everything to be online, hampering movements and hence social face-to-face interactions. Alarmingly, the domino effect is evident. As people spend more time online, so do violent extremists, doubling their efforts in recruiting those with hopeless sense of purpose in life, instigating a culture of hate speech and spreading violent contents, especially on the dark web and even Facebook. The study of the Asia Foundation and Rappler in 2020 shows that violent extremist activities on social media remain a security concern in the Philippines, particularly in Mindanao, where the rate of illiteracy is still unfortunately high. This culture of hate and violence has been manifested in the youth that we have encountered through the stories that they have shared with us, as well as in many others documented and even undocumented by Philippine media throughout the decades. With a spike of recruitments and hate speech amid a pandemic, I Am Mindanao's mission was simple and clear: to provide safe online spaces with positive contents for our young people. We have focused our campaign efforts in capacitating our online youth to become peace-promoting and discerning social media users through the 3 flagship goals of the campaign. 1. Reach 300 active youth online from 10 localities in Cagayan de Oro City and Misamis Oriental through an interactive, participation-driven online activities that engage themselves in the mission of peace-building online. 2. Educate and build capacities to 300 youth about susceptibilities to violent extremism online and their significance in promoting peace, positive messaging, and countering hate speech online to their communities. 3. Gather 100 stories from the youth online, amplifying their efforts and how youth are at the core of peace building.
There is victory in vulnerability. Our target audience is the at-risk online youth aged 15 to 24 years old from Cagayan de Oro City and the Misamis Oriental Province in Mindanao. Because schools in the Philippines had to shift to modular learning and online classes, this meant that the youth would have more exposure to the internet while at home. Most of the time, these online consumptions go unsupervised. thus making them easy targets to hate speech and violent extremism online.
To add, other factors have made our target audience especially vulnerable to these problems. Firstly, they are vocal on social media. They post their problems online. Some even post sentiments of hopelessness and losing drive to go on with life. Second, they spend at least 5 hours on social media daily, where they easily share personal information about themselves and even their family. Lastly, they easily engage with strangers and find a sense of belongingness by being bandwagoners, for riding on the trend, even for the ones uncalled for.
Though vulnerable, the study from UNESCO seems like a light at the end of the tunnel. It shows how youth empowerment and opportunities for participation are key components in building their resilience. With this, we have seen that our youth are the world's most crucial asset in peace building. With the key message, Mindanao is youth, in the new normal, I Am Mindanao believes that the youth continue to be at the core of peace building even when they are most vulnerable online.
Our campaign has always considered impact and sustainability as the two most important aspects in shaping our strategies. For our impact strategies, we've used two approaches: education and empowerment. First, we've launched our publicized and accessible learning kits on Facebook that provides modules and workshops for them, combining counter-speech, education, and specialized training on how to create and mobilize your own advocacies and social media campaigns in the long run. Our more than 70,000 followers in social media were able to access the learning kits, free, and can also be downloaded. We also empower our online community with the goal of gathering stories championing against violent extremism and hate speech online and in their communities. From gathering 100 stories, we have received 204 significant stories from our youth.
Secondly, we've also initiated activities that provided an avenue for youth to engage in positive and peaceful discourse with other young people and share their stories, each one emphasizing their role in countering violence, empowering them to become champions of peace in their communities and online. Activities like hashtag Picture Perfect Photo Challenge, My Peace for Peace Essay Writing Contest, Mindanao is Youth Poster Making Contest, hashtag Praising Peace Poetry Contest, Peace R, Peace Icons, and Peace Storia, receiving overwhelming entries from our youth.
For sustainability, we trained 309 youth from more than 30 localities in Cagayan de Oro City, Dumaguete City, and the Misamis Oriental Province. We've also partnered with 9 organizations and institutions.
For our preliminary research, we surveyed 150 youth online before our campaign initiatives. All our questions were specifically formulated to assess their existing levels of knowledge, attitude, and behavior in promoting peace and countering hate speech online. On day 1 pre-campaign, we found that only 78% of the respondents had pre-existing knowledge of the importance of their roles in the peace movement, 73% in terms of attitude, and 75% in terms of behavior. After our initiatives, we administered the same survey to the same 150 respondents. 100 of those respondents were experimental group, whom we included in our campaign activities, and the remaining 50 people were our control group who were not included in any of our activities. By day 50 post-campaign, we found that our control group obtained 79% in terms of knowledge, while our experimental group obtained 90%. In terms of attitude levels, our control group obtained 73%, while our experimental group 85%. Lastly, when it came to behavior levels, our control group obtained 75% and our experimental group 88%. This notes that our control group showed little to no improvement in their levels of knowledge, attitude, and behavior. Meanwhile, we found a significant positive change in our audience or experimental group.
Now, time for a budget breakdown. For this installment, the team has spent 23% on advertisements that include Facebook and Instagram, boosting which our target audience are often residing, 70% on merchandise consisting of limited edition shirts, customized tote bags, pens, ball pens, and mugs as additional incentives to our target audience, and 7% on the operational supplies of the organization.
To continue the impact and sustainability of I Am Mindanao, we had critically assessed the opportunities to scale to better mobilize the mission of the campaign. We aim to make an even more ambitious move and include our youth outside of our schools and universities, as they too play a crucial role in promoting peace online and in their communities. We will also ramp up our efforts in producing community-based podcasts where our audience would listen to our peace stories using their phones via Spotify, as this platform rose in popularity in the country. We will also intensify our promotion to peace and inclusivity by launching a virtual peace-building town halls and a week-long celebration. Next year, we are also proud to announce the future partnership of I Am Mindanao between Research Institute for Mindanao Culture of Xavier University and the Department of Social Welfare and Development to help us mobilize our mission in countering violent extremism and hate speech, both off and online.
Our youth have continued to show us that even with their vulnerability to become targets for violent extremist activities, recruitments, even in the midst of a global health crisis, they emerge victorious as our champions of peace. Truly, Mindanao is youth. With our rooted motivation, I Am Mindanao presses onward a peaceful Mindanao free from violent extremism.
I am Mindanao.